Good evening and welcome to the SARPL live webcast with myself, Paul Grobler. And with me in the studio tonight is also Deon Senecal. Welcome, Deon.
Thank you, Paul. Hi, guys.
All right, so we've looked at a number of things over the last few months. Deon joining us here as part of the National Working Group. And hopefully Byron will be joining us as well. As life would have it, he had a bit of a challenge at his work this evening with a upgrade. So the moment he can get out of that, he will hopefully join us as well. So we want to reach out to all our players, our supporters, everyone else, and just update you about our plans, not just for the rest of this year, obviously, but also for 2022. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. You should be able to send us your comments. And first one there from Chris, also part of the National Working Group. Thank you, Chris, for joining us. And if you want to pop in and show us your message, do that. Glenn host there as well. So we will bring up your comments as we get them, and you're welcome to be part of the conversation this evening as we talk about the road forward for 2022. It's definitely not been an easy task. I think Deon, you can agree that the National Working Group, we've met quite a few times now already over the last few months. We had quite a few deep discussions where not everyone always sees eye to eye about how to approach it, but hopefully we've found a solution to our current situation that we're having, and hopefully if we share it with you this evening, it will be something that tickles your fancy and you would like to be part of that. Hi, Jason Brown as well, all the way there from Port Elizabeth. Great to have you guys here part of it. So please feel free to share with us your thoughts as well as we progress. So Deon, just starting and throwing you in the deep end, just give us, from your perspective, you're sort of now sitting behind the scenes, probably for the first time as well. What have you picked up? What have you noticed over the last few months with regards to what we're trying to do with the National Working Group and what we're trying to build for the players moving forward?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Good evening, guys. Well, it's been a rough couple of days, or the last couple of months, actually. Like Paul said, sharing ideas and trying to get things going. As we all know that paintball is actually, it took a big dip the last couple of years, or I would say the last year actually, because of COVID. But yeah, we're trying from our side to build it up again. And I think with the working group, we all share ideas, and some of us are, as we all know, we are players as well. And it opens up the communication for us. And I think we'll get a better vision if everybody gives their idea of things, because not like Paul also mentioned, is that not everybody always agrees to one thing. So we try and make it suitable for everybody, going forward, and trying to grow the sport again and getting it back to where it was. So yeah, it takes time, but I'm sure with the group that we've got, there's some experienced people here, and not only like Paul, he's been in the league for how long, and he knows more than I think everybody in this country about running a league. But also for them, from the player side, he also sees our side where we come from. So I think putting it together, it actually makes like a little bit of a winning combo for all of us. Hopefully we can drive it and we can get the sport back again where it was.
Great. Thanks, Deon, for that. And Byron, you joined us as well. Welcome. is your computer sorted out? You are muted there, I see. But did you sort out your challenges that side?
I think so. I hope so.
Welcome.
How's it?
IT is a little bit of a challenge. So, to say the least. Right. So, while I've got all 3 years, so let's get going. Byron, just from your side, also as part of the discussion about finding the right format for 2022, what would you say is the I'm throwing you like Deon in the deep end here. Let's see how well you guys swim. What would you say is the things that we have had to take into consideration when it came to finding, like Deon mentioned, we had to find that suitable middle ground with teams and everything like that. What are some of the things that we had to look at and to consider to try and find a solution that will hopefully work for the players moving forward?
Yeah, I think Deon's kind of hit it there as well already, as we discussed. Like it's that midpoint between getting the teams in and trying to keep the cost as close as possible, as low as possible, but still able to run a well-organized event. And, you know, everything we've discussed has been taken into consideration, coming down to the fields, you know, we've spoken about things like the paint. We've discussed so many things to try to get it, you know, as close to mid-ground as we can, but there's just challenges from every angle. And I mean, with the team we have, we've literally been able to take it from every single angle and try to work out what's the best way to do this. You know, we've racked our heads here, and I think to find that mid-ground, no one's ever going to be happy. It's just the best mid-ground that suits the most people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I must say you are definitely on the comment section the most popular person, starting with Rody there from the Netherlands, Byron the sexy beast of paintball. Matthew,
Am I not the face of this?
Clearly, I'm not necessary anymore. And even Glenn goes saying there, the bearded wonder has arrived. We're all safe now. All right. So now that we're all safe, let's look at where we're going. So obviously, the SARPL in 2022 is a challenge. We had a rough year in 2020 with COVID. We had to make quite a few adjustments. There was a lot of work behind the scenes with regards to trying to get us legal again, if you want to put it that way, just to be able to play paintball again. We had to deal with government behind the scenes, get a few things sorted, but we got it right at the end of the day, and tournaments could continue. This year we had the up and down with regards to lockdown levels as well. We definitely saw a decrease in the number of teams competing, and you heard the stories of players and of teams, the challenges that they're facing with regards to finances, people that still hesitant to go out because of the virus and everything like that at the end of the day. And that's all things we need to try and take into consideration. And then suddenly now they announce lockdown level 1. Suddenly we can have 2,000 people outside where the previous time it was 250 people or something like that. So you never know what to expect. You just don't. So but we do know by now, obviously, it's reasonably safe, especially if you're outdoors. Your choice at the end of the day, if you want to get vaccinated or not. I'm not going to go down that topic or that road. That's up to everyone's own decision. But it's reasonably safe outside, and obviously trying to be active and keeping alive is important. And I think it's also one of those things. Deon, maybe you and Byron want to chirp in here. Do you agree that paintball is probably, in your opinions, one of the best ways for your mental health, if you want to put it that way? What would you say are some of the benefits of getting out there and playing paintball? Deon?
Well, first of all, it's just getting a bit of sanity, and you can see your mates a bit. Get out of the house. It was a long COVID period for a lot of people. It wasn't easy out there, but getting back on the field, seeing all my buddies again, all the people I haven't seen in ages, just chatting to them, finding out how they're doing. Definitely brings a good spirit to you. You actually, I look forward to go to the paintball field and see the guys again after so long. I was out for my arm as well because of my operation, so it's been a very long time for me. So for me to be on the field is absolutely awesome.
And I've got it on good authority that you're one of the refs with this upcoming event.
Well, I put myself into that, yes. So I'll be refing this fourth event at the Challenger, or the Saturday, the Div 4 guys.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And
looking forward to it.
Byron, and for you, I mean, you haven't been up at any one of the events lately. You're such a scaredy cat of this COVID. It's not even.
I think I've been out the longest. Yeah, I think it was Feb last year was the last one.
Yeah,
sure.
but okay, you've got the excuses of the baby and what all the other excuses that you normally come up with just before an event, not for coming up. Clearly, the guys aren't giving you enough beers when you come this way.
Clearly they're shortfalling somewhere.
Okay, are you ready? Are you ready to come back yet? Are you missing it at least?
Yes, man. I cannot wait to get out there and just throw some flags. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
I may kill myself running around, but it'll be worth it. But I think being out there on the field, being in the open, it's no contact. Just get out there, have some fun, meet up with the friends, fight a bit, shout a bit, release those frustrations a bit. Yeah. That's good. Get out there.
Cool. So obviously one of the things that we discussed at during our national working group is entertainment. And Glenn said I mustn't talk too much about this because then we're not going to get to the important stuff. But apparently cold beers, dancing girls, and some paintball needs to be the focus of the tournament. So obviously
in that order,
that's apparently the order that quite a few paintballers does it. So obviously entertainment is important at any event, and it is definitely something that has been lacking a little bit. So we are working hard on plans of improving the entertainment during 2022, specifically bringing some new ideas in, and we are hoping that we can get guys to also let us know what type of entertainment, except for the pretty girls, you want there. Glenn obviously saying again, the PE boys always have beers. So at least you know where to go, Byron. Go find the beers. Rody said for entertainment he's going to bring the blue elephant. Anyone that that's an internal joke for those that knows Rody. Let's talk a little bit about doing the entertainment. So please, guys, if you at all have suggestions, throw it to us. Share with us your thoughts on what type of entertainment, even if you're a family and you've got kids bringing there, if you want to bring your whole family there, what type of entertainment will make that good? So Desmond mentioned here, castle for the little ones. Or for the sorry, I completely read that wrong. Sorry, Desmond. I thought it's castle for the little ones. Now I'm reading castle light only. So clearly, I need to drink a Castle Zero or something like that. All right, but yeah. So we'll look at the entertainment and things that we that we can do there. So that's part of the plans. And we want people to come out and not just have an awesome time playing paintball, but hopefully creating a nice atmosphere on the outside as well. So let's quickly chat about the plans for the 5-man format. And this is probably the tricky one, because at the moment we're sitting with the big challenges. We've got not a lot of pro teams. The pro teams are saying they don't get enough. It's playing the same teams over and over and over again. The D4 teams are scared to move up. Well, not everyone necessarily scared, but the jump is too big from D4 to pro. We're losing D4 teams as well. A lot of the guys, for different reasons, whether finances, whether it's not liking me or someone else or other politics or whatever the case would be, getting people dropping out, which is a pity. I mean, it's one of those things we hear it a lot of the times when it comes to paintball as well. It's leave it on the field. I mean, go play paintball, have fun, leave it on the field. It's about that. So we had to try and play around with formats. So currently the proposed suggestion is combining D4 and Pro for 2022. But before you freak out completely, listen to the whole thing. So we're looking at having a single division. To make it more cost effective, we decided to sort of find a middle way between Mercy 2, Mercy 4, and going back to Race 2. So we're looking at doing a Race to 3 format, 8 minutes, loader and 2 pots. Okay, so the plan is single division, Race to 3, 8 minutes, loader and 2 pots. Okay. And with that comes now the trick, because now you suddenly have the pro teams obviously will be semi-happy with that. They get the opportunity to play more games. But the D4 teams are now needs to obviously now play against some of the pro teams, and a lot of the D4 teams is going to say, but I've got no chance now, obviously, of making the top 4. Okay, so to solve that, and Brian came up with this suggestion, and it's based on touch rugby, Deon, am I right?
Sevens rugby, Paul.
Sevens. Yeah. So it's based on the sevens concept, where there's a cup and a plate finals. So effectively what's going to happen is that the top 4 teams in the division is going to play their finals as champions or cup or whatever the case might be. So they will have their own finals, and 5th to 8th seeded teams will be playing a plate finals or a challenger finals or whatever we choose to call it at the end of the day, and they will have their own finals as well. But what this helps us with is, first off, it creates a bigger pool of teams to play against, so you get a bigger variety. And second of that is that you also now have an opportunity to play against stronger pro teams, but also weaker pro teams. So it specifically for the D4 teams, it helps you to up your game a little bit, in my opinion, and hopefully that will help us to bridge that gap that we've got at the moment. And I don't know, Deon, do you want to explain our plans with regards to brackets? Are we going to decide the brackets for 5-man?
So yeah, Paul, thanks. That's the plan. So we take the top 4 teams, and it'll be on a roster. The top 4 teams will be the 4 brackets we'll be playing. Then it's very similar to how the NXL actually works it out. It's the top 4 teams on the, and then number 5, the 5th team will go and fall under team 1, I would say, and then the 6 under team 2, 7 under team 3.
Remember, so just going to interrupt you there. Remember, we said we're going to, depending on how many brackets there are. So
Yes.
this is now where the challenge is, because
It's
we've
ideal.
got
It's ideal.
we've got 4 pro teams, but if obviously if we work in brackets of 5 still, if we don't have at least 20 teams in total playing, you can't have obviously 4 brackets.
Yeah,
but
we'll
we're
have to go
hoping.
down to 3.
Yeah, we're hoping for 4 brackets. If we can have 4 brackets, which is the ideal situation, the plan would be, other than in the past. So in the past we had what we call S seeding. So S seeding is basically first seeded will play in bracket A, second seeded will play bracket B, third seeded will play bracket C, fourth seeded will play bracket D, fifth seeded will play bracket D as well, and then it makes like a S as it ranks it, and that obviously helps people to be ranked properly. However, to spice things up for next year, remember we said that a week prior to the event, we're going to have a live draw. So we're going to change things a little bit, and we're going to have so what we're going to do is, first off, the top 4 teams from the Champions Division or the Cup teams that won the previous one, they will be drawn to play A, B, C, or D. So even they will be drawn. So it will just be a matter of which one they will play in. So it doesn't mean if you first seeded, you're going to play in the A bracket, or if you're second seeded, you're going to play in the B bracket. Those 4 teams will also be drawn on in which bracket they're going to play in that top section. Yeah. Once we figured out the top teams playing, we're going to then have the remaining teams also pulled out. So let's say there is 20 teams in total. Then from 5th seeded till, not 5th seeded, whichever teams they are, we will draw those teams and they will get automatically assigned. So there's going to be 2 things. We're drawing for the team and we're drawing for in which bracket they will go. So it doesn't mean if you're number 5, you're going to be in A, or in D, you can be in any of those. And I think that will really spice things up next year. I'm quite excited about that suggestion, and it's something, yes, we want to go. I'm an IT person, so I like the standard going for just whatever, let the computer work it out. But I do like the random component to it, and I would really like to see how this is going to pan out or play out if we do that. Andrew says here as well, I thought it was a lucky draw. Yes, Andrew, you're absolutely correct. That's why I quickly corrected Deon. But yeah, he was on the right track there. So it is a lucky draw. A week prior, we're going to have a live session like this that everyone can see that it is it's random. We're not going to decide and announce it. We're going to have a live broadcast like this where the draw will take place and teams will be assigned in accordingly. Erika is asking a question, will there still be player ranking? Yes, there will be player ranking, so we're still going to use the system to rank players. However, when it comes to 5-man specifically, it's not going at this stage, not going to make as much of a difference what your rank is specifically for 5-man. In 4-man, in 3-man, it will definitely still play a role. But with the single division that we're going for next year, your rank doesn't really matter. A team can have any players. What we are going to do, however, as we said, your teams, the rosters is going to be limited to 8 players per roster. So making sure that we've got compact rosters, that we don't have overfull rosters, that teams ultimately have bloated rosters, but we're still lacking teams. We want ultimately, hopefully, more teams that compete, more people having fun, more variety of playing against other people. And if we've got 2 big rosters, then that's going to be a challenge. So that was the question from Erika. Matthew said, just to bring in some comedy, to really spice things up, we can get Byron to dance on the field again. But he does that anyway. We don't even have to. We don't even have to do that. Byron, you dance for free, eh?
Yeah, I dance for free or beer or both.
Yeah, or beer. Okay. The only difference is we might actually bring a pole this time for you, just to spice things up. So, okay. Glenn says, I like the fact that every event will be a total mix-up of who plays, and I think that's going to bring that
Excitement back.
excitement or something new in. Troy asked a question. He says, with it being open div, will we scrap players needing a player's card? So, irrespective whether we need a player's card or not, so you don't need per se a player's card to say what division you are. What we are doing was we're definitely scratching memberships for Freeman in 2022. There's going to be no membership for Freeman in 2022. We are considering a few scenarios around membership in total that we're still trying to play out. Obviously, at the moment, event fees is set in such a way that it covers the event itself, and there's not really any funds additional for upgrades we might want to do or additional marketing, advertising, any of those type of things, unless it gets sponsored. Those type of fees is not included. Sponsorships is quite challenging at the moment as well. But we are looking at finding that solution. So although you might not need per se a player card, for 5-man, there still might be a membership for 2022. At this stage, we are still considering 600 rands. If we don't do that, there might be an increase in the event fees itself. So there's different scenarios that we look at, but we do need to obviously cover those type of costs as well for the events. So that we're going to announce as we move on, and really we're open to it. So please, players, let us know if you would prefer a membership fee like 600 rands for the year for 5-man, but you don't. But we're going to try and keep the entry fee per event low, or do you prefer a slightly higher entry fee but no membership fee? So that's the two scenarios. There will obviously still be an incident. If we do have membership fee, there will still be an incidental fee. So you don't have to be a member. You can play a single event and just play then pay only for that event your incidental fee. So that's that. Sean's saying, to really spice things up, we can have Byron at the field again. I'm not going to comment on that. Dino says, will we get Div 2 ranking points for the 5-man? So ranking for 2022, the way we're planning on doing it at this stage, it will probably be scored at D3 level, definitely not D2 level. So just to keep it, to make sure that our pro teams don't rank too high and that our D4 teams also don't move up too quickly, we will probably rank the scoring for players will be done on D3 level for 5-man as a single bracket. Okay, so Yaku, all the way there from Bloemfontein, he likes the idea. Great, thanks, Yaku. Then let's see. So Troy still, there's guys that want to play, but not all events on the trot. Okay, so like I said, the incidental fee or a higher entry fee, one of those two will work. Andrew suggested a $250 per event incidental fee. And then obviously it's going to work out cheaper paying your 600 Rand membership for the year. But if you only want to then play one event, and I know they do it for cycle races, and there's other events where that same type of principle applies as well. So that will still fizz out. We haven't done anything there. We've got quite a few accountants on the national working group. So between Alan and Brian and whoever else and Andrew Lee that works quite heavily in finances on a regular basis. They will probably suggest look at our budget and look at what's the best way to go. And then another one, I suppose, here for you again, Byron.
Probably looking at the
Hello,
comments.
you sexy monster. There, Chart Carstens from Polokwane. All right. So, yeah.
Sounds
so,
like you
so
just
let's-
need me to bring paintball back here.
Yeah, see, you just we'll probably have more teams if you just pitch up again. Right. So that's the idea around the 5-man format. And just looking at the comments and everything that we've seen so far, it looks very positive. There is obviously things that needs to be fished out so long. And we really invite all our players at the upcoming 4-man event next weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Paintball City. Please pop in, come and talk to Deon, to all the national working group is going to be there. So Alan, Chris, Andrew, Glenn, Fuad, if he pops in there. So please chat to one of those guys.
Not me.
Yeah, see, I already know you're not coming up. I won't say anything. Anyway, but since Andrew Lee is throwing this little face, I know Andrew Lee is also on the ref squad. He pulled himself into that as well. So he's probably going to pop up there with his fashion statement like the previous time he hit ref. Can you remember that, Byron? With the kit here on the front, with the water bottle and everything else that is necessary.
The latest, the latest.
Yeah, so Andrew Lee will there to show the, but yeah. So let's look at that. Troy mentions about 250. He doesn't see as a small fee. I suppose it depends on how you look at things, but we'll play around with that. That's obviously not set in stone. So let's see what we can do. Right. Then, so that's on the 5-man. I don't know if there's any of our Deon. Is there something else you want to mention about the 5-man? Do you think we've covered everything here?
Yeah, Paul, I don't think it was the format was the big one that we said we're going to discuss going forward. So we would like to get some feedback also from the guys so we also have some insight from them and we can work from there then.
Yeah. And I see Andrew Lee calling out there, Matty and Mike also reffing the next event. I'm just making sure I'm recording all of this that people can't say they didn't know. So please guys, go out, chat to the national working group, give your input, give your concerns, let us know, pop us an email as well. You're welcome to email any of the national working group. If you've got them on WhatsApp, send them that out, and let's go with that. Glenn throwing something here, spanner in the works, saying let's hope next year's Super Cup can be out of Joburg. Maybe a bus might be needed. See, that's why you mustn't be on a working group. Okay. So, but yeah, there's some cool ideas for 2022 that we're working on with regards to Super Cup. So, what did I say? I'll hold my beer.
Paul, I see we have another. Dino said he will come and he will come and ref the next event as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dino. Dino also said that the real consequences will be on the D4 teams and players. So guys, we really want to get the feedback from the D4 teams. I do feel D4 teams also want to play the best they can, and they will. I mean, looking at where we stand with the current number of teams, I think variety would be good. So it would be great. But the more people that give us feedback at the end of the day, please, that's why we're inviting you guys. Please give us feedback. Please speak to the national working group. Let us know what you think. What's the concerns if you don't like it, and so forth. Kaya asking, is there any change to rate of fire? At this stage, not. I don't think we need to drop 10.5 anymore. No. Not for tournament paintball. We've already got loader and 2 pots, so it's already less for the pro teams, which will already change the game from that perspective. So I don't think that's necessary. And Chris Matt says that Andrew forgot about him, but Chris Matt will also ref. Thank Chris.
I will remind him.
Andrew Lee is just pointing out here that nobody likes the pink beanie guy. I've got absolutely no idea who he's talking about. Cough, cough. Yeah, so we won't drop the rate of fire, so don't worry about that. I think there's going to be enough events where rate of fire will be dropped. There's quite a lot of chats about next year, specifically your fun events or your not tournament related events, where a rate of fire of 8 will be fine or whatever the case may be. But I think for this it works well. Deon says, Happy said he doesn't like D4 teams and hope they don't shoot him while he is reffing. Is that true? Is that true, Happy?
Not at all.
Are they talking out of a private chat here now?
We're playing together on Sunday.
Okay, cool. All right, so great. So that's on the 5-man format. I've got about 23 minutes before Eskom said I'm not allowed to talk anymore. Then load shedding is starting. Those of you that didn't read the news, load shedding stage 2 kicks in again this evening at 9 o'clock, and where I'm staying, we up first for load shedding again. So great. So if I suddenly just stop the stream, load shedding started maybe a bit earlier. Right. So let's look at the 3-man format. And just quickly talk about that as well. So first off, one thing that we realized as we discussed with the National Working Group, listening to people, is that we're missing new people coming into the sport. Whether it's cost, that it's too expensive to play, whether it's whatever the reason might be, we're not seeing new players entering the sport. Like I say, whether it's cost, whether it's people seeing too much politics, whether it's whatever the case would be, that all plays a role. Right, so when it comes to the grassroots and the beginners div, we're looking at race to 1 for this year, or next year, sorry. It will be a 3-minute game, loader only, and there we might even drop it to 8 balls per second or mechanical, just for the beginners division. Then we're also looking at making beginners division a affiliated SARPL event, which means any field that wants to join with the SARPL can host its own affiliated beginners div events at their field. And to open it up even more, beginners div won't necessarily even have to be played on a speedball field. Whether you play it on a tire field or whatever, there's certain rules that's going to be applied. And this was something that myself and Jason Brown discussed, some suggestions that came from him as well, stuff that we've discussed as a national working group. And that's really what we need, is we need to make it cost effective. We need to get people involved and that they can play as cheap as possible. As I mentioned, 3-man won't have any membership, so anyone can play 3-man. So the affiliated events is not going to be on speedball bunkers necessarily at a field. There will be other rules that will apply. However, those that want to, the beginners div will still take place at SARPL events as well. And then on that side as well, Matthew said, race to 1 is cutthroat. Now, although I agree with that, for beginners div, it's fine. You don't want people to play back-to-back games yet in beginners division. You just want people to get the hang of the game, get the hang of the sport. I see Mark Gerber already announced the West Rand paintball.
Yeah, West Rand paintball
Yeah.
Starting league.
Yeah. It's like where you can learn to play paintball. It's something I started TAP, the Academy of Paintballing in 2012, and I wanted to get pro players to get involved with that, similar to what they do overseas as well. So hopefully that will take off in the West Rand, and I hope some of the other fields will do similar things in their areas to get people to get to play paintball, to learn how to use a paintball marker. That's one of the big challenges, obviously, when it comes to beginners division, is a lot of the guys have no experience on how to deal with a marker, how does a tournament work, things like that. All right. Then from there, we're going to still keep the 5 race to 2, and hopefully, there we go. Thanks, Mark. The West Rand Paintball Academy. West Rand Paintball Academy. Thank you so much for fixing that. Right, so I think he's starting beginning November. So if you're in the West Rand area, make sure to contact him if you want to get involved there. Then the 5 will still stick to. We're going to make that race to 2, 4 minutes. So moving away from Mercy 2, very similar, but it is slightly less heavy on paint. Although I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. And that will just be a loader and 1 pot. And then there's quite a few people with higher ranks than D4 that also would like to play 3-man. So for next year, unless I get a big fight against it, but at this stage, there's barely any D4 teams. So what we're doing for next year then is bringing in an open division, race to 2 as well at this stage, loader and 1 pot. But that will be open div, meaning any person with any rank can compete there. So the open div will have a little bit of a different feel to it. So from a competitive side, the 5 is perfect for people that still want to compete on that level. And then there's also then a division specifically for people that's brand new to paintball and not ready to get out there. And then open div for the guys that really just want to come and jowl, because 5-man or 3-man is obviously a more fun format to just jam, and the more competitive side is obviously the 5-man side. So it's not easy dealing with all of this stuff. There isn't, and we have to realize there's probably not going to be a one size fits all, and there's not enough teams to separate the divisions. So if we can get our numbers of teams up, by all means, we'll bring in additional divisions again. But at the end of the day, I don't think anyone wants to play just against 3 teams or whatever the case might be. So at this stage, combining teams in a single division, just till we get our numbers up and getting more people to play again, will hopefully get things going. So Deon, thoughts there from your side on the 3-man format? I know you're one of the guys that mentioned quite a few times you just sometimes want to play with a buddy, just for the fun of it, if you want to put it that way. So will this type of scenario work for you with the open division?
Yeah, Paul, definitely. With the ranking, it makes it difficult, because if I want to go and play with my son that's 10 years old, it won't allow me to play with him.
Yeah.
So he's not going to come and play then.
Yeah.
And, if I want to play with the no discount guys, for instance, let's say I want to intervene with them, I won't be allowed to play with them. So, it's very... You don't really have a variety where you can go play. When it's open, anybody can enter, and there's no restrictions actually to it. So if my son wants to come and play, then he can join. He can play with me. It won't be a problem. So yes, it'll definitely open up for myself. It'll open up more. How can I say, more time to play?
Cool. Byron, from your side, are you going to play 3-man if there's an open div? I mean, you ranked, I don't know, can't remember your rank anymore, but I mean, it was so high, there's no division you can compete in. So You muted, so just unmute yourself there. Byron, you muted.
Yeah. I don't. I think I bring back mechanical. That's what I say. Bring back mechanical. Have some fun. The 3-man's a good start though. Just have a bit of fun. Throw it in, like Deon said. He can play with the sun. You can get
Yeah.
3 random oaks together. Go for afternoon. You get shot. You don't get shot. Whatever it is. I think it's a good start. You can just go have fun. There's nothing serious. There's nothing hectic. Play with the family. Play with some friends. Pick up a random on the day.
Yeah.
Look,
so one of the things was, as Glenn mentioned there as well, we need to have more fun days or charity events like we did. And I think that charity event went off quite well there at Paintball Place in Krugersdorp. We had quite a few teams there. The guys had quite a bit of fun. But obviously, there's no pressure on, and it was just a good day out. And hopefully next year we will throw at least 1 or 2 of those type of fun charity events in as well, where everyone can just come out and it's not that strict competitive side of paintball that you typically see on the 5-man side. We need to get back to that fun side of paintball as well. And I think here, obviously, the challenge that we're sitting with is that a lot of the times we need to take quite a bit of things into consideration. So paintball has got a whole ecosystem from the suppliers to the resellers. So it's obviously important for the suppliers and the resellers to be able to sell. So I'm sure they want to sell as much paint as they can. And they would like to sell new equipment to everyone if they can on a regular basis. But it's not in the current financial economy we're in, that's not always feasible. And they realize that, and they're working with us to find the right solution. Then there's the fields as well. I think it's extremely expensive for fields to have a speedball field. That's why we have only so many speedball fields around the country. Looking at a new bunker set at 150K, looking at your compressors, everything else that you need to have a tournament-ready field is freaking expensive. So it's important that if the numbers aren't there, if players aren't supporting those fields on a regular basis, paying their weekly fees, going to practice, whatever the case may be, it makes it extremely difficult for those fields to be able to do upgrades, to make changes, to have a tournament-ready field. And that obviously affects us from that perspective. All right, Chris is asking a question here. What's the plan to grow paintball and not just speedball? Obviously, Chris, this is a SARPL chat. So this is about the South African Regional Paintball League. Our focus is speedball. That is the primary focus of paintball. When Sandpot talks about growing paintball in general, then we definitely look at that. I know you guys at Paintball City has got amazing plans for things that you guys want to do with the events that you're planning. I see the event coming up now, if I'm not mistaken, end of October on your new Mounds field. So those that want to try out something completely different to speedball, that's it. Go out. Just go and play paintball. Doesn't matter what it is. But the focus of tonight's chat and of what we're doing is obviously, what is the SARPL doing? What are we doing with tournament paintball and speedball specifically in South Africa, and finding the right format that will work for the players competing in the SARPL. Right, so his follow-up question on us, how is the RPL going to get more players into speedball? I mean, that is the big question at the end of the day. We're hoping with the format that we suggested, more people will be able to afford playing paintball and therefore will be willing to come back. Definitely part of that is just getting people to play paintball. I don't know if you popped in after we spoke about the grassroots or beginner's div. So with the grassroots and beginner's div is where we're going to specifically promote paintball to that market and getting new people into the sport, and obviously making it affordable and open to more fields, with the fact that it doesn't have to be on a speedball field. It can be on, so the grassroots or the beginners division can be on any field at the end of the day. Doesn't matter where they play. We just want to get guys into the field, and we're hoping years where Paintball Fields is going to, whether it's through events like Paintball City is hosting, or whether it's going to be through like the West Rand Paintball Academy that Mark's doing. I hope that the different things that Paintball Fields are doing and trying out will get more people to play paintball, and hopefully those fields at the end of the day will invite players to also compete in tournament paintball, speedball at the end of the day, and try that out. So it's not an easy task finding the right solution, and hopefully with everything that we've suggested, we can start moving in a direction of getting more people in. Michael Zeng says, I think a lot of players are being scared of by pricing of paint. Maybe with the partnership, the SARPL can arrange packages for newer players. Just my 5 cents. We are obviously, we're very glad that Blades and Triggers came on board, and with Ward sitting on the National Working Group, we hope that we've got a good relationship with all the suppliers out there in finding the right solutions, and it would be great. At the same time, obviously, the big challenge is that if suppliers don't sell, they only have so much of a budget for marketing and everything else. Right, so we need to start wrapping it up. My power is probably going to cut out shortly. Deon, any final words from your side? What you would like to see from players, maybe chatting to us, things like that, please.
Yeah, guys, please get involved. Come to us at the event, send us a mail, what you guys think. We can discuss it in the group and take it from there. But it's very difficult to get information if no one says anything about it. So yeah, please get involved and bring your buddies to come and play paintball, man. That's how we'll grow it all together. I think if we all stand together and we go do the Mount events and we come and support each other, I think we can grow the sport, definitely.
Awesome, thanks, Deon. And Byron, from your side, what do you think?
Feedback. Just give us feedback. We can only work with what we know and the info we have. So, like the people in the chat, the guys that are commenting, the guys that are saying stuff, everything like that is what's going to help push us in the right direction. Yeah, we're trying to lay the groundwork, but without the feedback from the guys, get the vibe up, speak to the people, the guys who haven't played, get them to do a fun event every now and then, get them to go do the molds there, freaking the mounds and molds, the mounds, get them back in, get a bit of gears going again, just feedback and get the vibe up. That's all I can say. It's got to happen.
Cool. Thank you. So I just want to wrap up here with a few things. Troy says, how can we get current players in the SARPL to interact with the SARPL? Troy, this is probably one of those golden questions. I mean, we send out emails, we send out social media, Instagram, Facebook. We chat with people where we can. We need current players to chat. Make sure people give feedback, get the news out there. There's only so much we can do. We need your support and your help as well. So we need to get, I'm open to suggestions. There's only so much we can do to get the news out, but we need you as a player and those of you that's interacting to be involved there. Mark Gerber saying, fields are the main source of new players. We don't disagree with that. And again, like I said, to Chris's comment as well, just note that the SARPL, the South African Regional Paintball League, is a speedball league. We aren't just any league, we are a speedball league. And that's why the focus, obviously, from the SARPL perspective, is tournament paintball, speedball. That doesn't mean I don't, any other type of paintball is important, but the focus is specifically, and what we're discussing at the moment is speedball. That doesn't mean there isn't a place for the rest, but that isn't the primary focus of the SARPL. That is a focus of SANPA but not as the SARPL. Right. Michael Zeng saying, for the sport, I'll come out of retirement. That would be great. Seeing those guys, seeing those guys back on the field. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for the feedback. Even Chart saying they controlled chaos must make a comeback. I think so as well. So it'd be great seeing more guys coming back. Hopefully we can make it affordable for everyone. Please share us your thoughts. And do something. Michael Zing says a flash mob in the mall. Chat to me, Michael, if we can get that get that going. We can look at that. I just think the police is going to be they're faster than anything else. But yeah, it is the world we're living in. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your feedback. Thank you for the support that you guys given us this evening. Keep it going. Keep on chatting to the National Working Group, get the news out there, get people involved. Just go play paintball. Doesn't matter where it is. If it's the SARPL, it's speedball, it's tournament paintball. But by all means, whether you're supporting Mark's Field with the events he's hosting, whether it's at Paintball City with his events that on the Molds fields and all the other fields they've got there, go play paintball, have fun. If tournament paintball and speedball is your thing, obviously, please join us here at the SARPL. And we hope to see you at the next event and have fun. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Deon, thank you for joining us. Byron, thank you for joining us. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Go play paintball.